You you let me know. All right, cool.
Good morning, everybody. Meteorologist Mike Favetta here with Dr. Michelle Fowler. Very excited to have her here. Well, actually, thank you for having me.
Yes.
Here down in the D.C. area, we're at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. And this is one of the divisions of NASA that studies planets, studies the Earth. You want to talk a little more about that?
Well, actually, at Goddard, we do it all. I mean, so we actually have the largest Earth science department here in the world, but we go all the way out to the deep universe, you know, the planetary exploration, everything.
Very cool, very cool. Now, you may have noticed, Michelle, you may have recognized her. She's been in a couple TV documentaries. I know you're starting in a new show tonight with Bill Nye.
That's right, yeah, Bill Nye Saves the World. Yeah,
very
fun.
cool. So she's well versed in these planets and in the science. So what's cool about this is that today, because it's the day before Earth Day, we get to talk a little bit about our planet. So let's have a few questions from some viewers that have already come in. We'll get to those in a bit. And because we're streaming live on Facebook, you can feel free to comment in the questions below. I've got the phone here, and we'll see if Michelle can answer them. But since Earth Day is tomorrow,
yes.
you know, this is something that has been going on for almost 30 years now.
Yeah, that's right.
Been a while.
It's a wonderful chance to actually celebrate, you know, our favorite planet, you know,
Exactly.
the one that we're standing on. And because NASA studies all the planets and all the universe, of course we study the Earth, and there are many, many ways we do that.
So what are some ways that we have studied the Earth and their benefits to just anybody at home watching this now?
Well, you know, to some degree, the benefit is actually viewing our entire planet all at once. And NASA did that first in Apollo 8, right?
Wow.
I mean, that was the first time the astronauts were far enough away from the Earth.
And these are some of the pictures.
Exactly, yes. I mean, look at this gorgeous picture of the Earth rising over the moon. And when the astronauts saw this, we have the audio. They were freaking out. They were looking for their cameras. They wanted some color film because it was so beautiful. And it shows you just our wonderful, fragile home and the fact that we're observing it in so many different ways. These are all the satellites we have up right now that are busy observing the Earth. The oceans, the land. We have more than a 45-year record of the land use through Landsat. We can see things like ocean currents.
Yeah, I use this a lot, and
That's
our
right.
whole meteorologists use this, especially for, you know, predicting where the Gulf Stream will go and how that impacts our weather. And really, if it makes a good beach day, for instance, up in the Bronx or in Brooklyn, all of this is important. And there are these dozens of satellites that I learned about yesterday that are constantly orbiting the Earth in these train fashions.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's right. I mean, the Earth doesn't have any real borders, right? I mean, the atmosphere doesn't have borders between one country and another. So it's a system. The way the ocean affects the land, affects the air. And the best way to see that is from space. Because in space, you see it all at once. You see everything interacting together. And there's pretty much no one that can do that except for NASA. I mean, obviously, we collaborate with lots of other agencies. We collaborate with different countries. But we run the majority of the satellites.
Very cool. Yeah, got to see a satellite yesterday. There's pictures of it over on this Facebook page as well as Instagram and Twitter of the NASA James Webb Space Telescope.
That's right.
Very excited about that. You know, yes, Earth Day is tomorrow and we want to look back at our planet, but we also want to look out into deep space. Mm-hmm. And you, as an astronomer, I'm sure can attest. It's very exciting stuff. So tell us a little bit more about this new telescope and how it's going to be so much better than the telescope that we're all familiar with, the Hubble Space Telescope.
Well, that's right. I mean, the James Webb Space Telescope is sort of our follow-on mission to the Hubble. And the mirror itself is 7 times the size of the Hubble Space Telescope.
Thing. It's
yes,
huge.
it's huge, yes. I mean, the heat shields, which you see down below, those are about the size of a tennis court. And it's going to be able to look farther back into the universe than ever before. So we're going to be able to see things like star-forming regions where new solar systems are forming. And the great thing is that the James Webb looks in the infrared. Infrared light, which we think of as heat light, can actually pass through things like dust clouds in space, and you can see what's going on inside. So the James Webb Telescope, unlike Hubble, it doesn't see the same kind of light that our eye sees. It actually sees infrared light, and we think we'll be able to see even more things using that sort of light.
Wow, very exciting. So we have a few good mornings from some of our viewers. We've got Ramon says good morning, Moesha, good morning to you, and Justin has a question. Justin's a meteorologist friend of mine, so the question is a little technical, but Justin's question is asking about deep space travel, and it's more so on the effect of, you know, everybody's excited about these new missions that are being planned to Mars, but what advances have been achieved in lowering radiation exposure for these astronauts that are going out into deep space flight. You know, Mars is a challenge, but then getting people to Mars safely is an even bigger challenge.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we really take advantage of being here on Earth, and I think a lot of people are not aware of it, is our wonderful magnetic field. The Earth has a protective magnetic field that actually protects us from a lot of high energy radiation from space. So it's one of the reasons you and I are here today talking, is this magnetic field. And when you get beyond the Earth, you no longer have that protection. Astronauts, even in the space station, are close enough to the Earth that they're mostly protected by that field. But you go out to the moon, it's not there. Out to Mars, it's not there. So one of the things that absorbs radiation really well is water. So one idea is to position water tanks very strategically in our spacecraft so the astronauts could shelter from a very high energy storm from the sun. We also have sheltering. Here we have the sun, right, having a wonderful dramatic storm coming out. The sun is constantly throwing out high energy particles, and almost all of those are actually diverted by our magnetic field. So we're looking at designs for spacesuits that protect from radiation. We're also looking at places inside the spacecraft where you could shelter, almost sort of a sleeping bag that might protect you from this stuff. Yeah.
Very, very exciting. So with Earth Day being tomorrow, there are so many of these advances going on. What's the most, looking ahead, looking down the road into the future, what do you think, as a NASA scientist, as an astronomer, the most exciting thing for the general public to get excited about is within the near future?
It's sort of like choosing between your children, right? Okay, all right, so one of the things, I'm looking forward to so many things, but one of the things I'm really looking forward to is I think there's a good chance that we may find life in our solar system outside the Earth. Places like Europa.
Sure.
Right? I mean, so Europa is a moon of Jupiter that has a warm saltwater ocean underneath a shell of ice. And I'm excited about a mission that's actually going to be going to Europa. And another thing we're finding are planets outside our own solar system, like these from the TRAPPIST system. We found a system that has 7 Earth-sized planets. And so, you know, the idea of looking for other places where there may be life, the James Webb Space Telescope will be able to look at these and actually sort of sample their atmospheres from a distance to see if there's life there, the possibility of it. And actually, here's a great animation of that Europa mission that I mentioned. So we're going to be actually, hopefully, sampling the ocean by flying through plumes of water vapor that are coming out through the cracks in the ice in Europa, and maybe finding evidence of life. That's got me pretty excited.
That is some very exciting stuff. Yeah, and anybody that watches News 12 regularly in the mornings and before a little weathercast, if there's any new announcement or new discovery that NASA has with these animations or with these pictures, you know I share them, and it's all very exciting stuff, especially on a quiet, sunny day. So yeah, there's plenty to talk about. Thank you all for watching. This was a great segment. Thank you, Michelle. Wonderful to have you here. And if you have any questions, I'll be sure to pass them along after the live video ends, and we'll be sure to get those questions answered. Because after all, this is all about celebrating the planet and celebrating Earth Day tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Happy Earth Day, everybody.